Hey guys, what's going on? My name's XCaliber, and I am here for the Designer Spotlight, and we are featuring Siege today. What's up, Siege?
Hey man, thanks for having me today.
Yeah, man, definitely. So how you been?
Been good.
Uh,
Been real excited about today.
Very cool, very cool. So I guess we'll start with everybody knows I've said it a lot that you're definitely one of the original inspirations of my building, along with a couple others, J Randall, Piston, Zero G, Super Killin. A lot of the around the same time you guys owned the front page. You guys had like some really amazing stuff that came out that we'll definitely be looking at today. How long have you actually been building an Empyrion?
Oh, geez, about 4 years at this point. I don't know, 3, 4 years.
All
Been
right.
playing a while.
Yeah. At any point, did you kind of take a break, or I remember there was a time when you weren't really building that much at all.
Yeah, I just recently got back into the game after a year off of not doing much. So
Okay, cool. So was it weights and volumes, or was it? I guess that would have been weights and volumes, right? If it was about a year ago.
yeah, the whole weights and volumes and the CPU thing kind of put me off the game for a bit. It took some time to get used to the.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we lost a lot of people that had played the game for a while, and then yeah, because of that, it just kind of. And I get. I mean, for you, was it more your workshop and all the work you had done? Kind of, you would have had to go back and redo them, and it just maybe didn't feel like it, or was it more that, or was it just the game in general?
It was just, the idea of getting something used to something new, seeing the build process get more complicated, but it's not necessarily finished yet. It's not super polished. So it's a new thing.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Tyler, sorry, what's up, man?
So, and just I got a little frustrated with some of the interface and some things.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like for the longest time, they were developing a certain way, and then when Alpha 9 came out, it wait, did I say 9? Am I Alpha 9, right? Alpha 19? Alpha 9? I don't know. But you know what I mean? Alpha 9, right? Weights and volumes, Alpha 9. Yeah. So when Alpha 9 came out, it was just this pivot in their development. It was like, wait a minute. All of a sudden, this isn't a thing. All of a sudden, all these builds are complete. And it did kind of mess me up too, because it's like, it was just a small first step. And I'm like, well, what else is going to happen? And then the CPU thing happened. And it's like, you know, the entire workshop is destroyed. Like all of these builds don't work now, and I don't know. I guess me personally, I don't see them doing anything to kind of right that. And I don't even mean like making things work again. I just mean you got new players that come in and they look at the workshop, and most of the stuff they're looking at isn't going to work.
Yeah, yeah. I need to go back through my workshop and label stuff that hasn't been updated.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of like a weird thing to me, like marketing wise. It's like, hey, here's all this really cool stuff you can't use in our game. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's weird.
Well, it's kind of to be expected with a game in development like this.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah.
So
All right, well, let's jump in it, man. We are looking at the Eagle 5. Talk to me about this one.
So yeah, this was the first build I ever attempted. I had seen one on the workshop that was kind of it was rough. Didn't have wheels. It was smaller. And I thought, I can do this. So of course, the very first thing I did, I didn't understand at the time that it matters which way the starter block is facing. So I built it backwards.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people go through that.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a real lack of tutorials. I mean, content creators have made them, definitely. I need to make more of them. But just some of those basic things, like they don't really share much with you as far as, how to build, how to do things. And I'm hoping that as they go on, that's part of the beginning experience of the game, so that people kind of understand, um, how to do these things. I mean,
Yeah, and of course, at the time, we didn't have copy paste, so fixing the facing on the starter block involved rebuilding the entire thing. It wasn't easy to fix.
wow. Yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
awesome.
this is the original. It's not in the workshop anymore.
Oh wow, okay. Is that why is that? You
I made an up. Well, I made an updated version, and then someone else came along and was inspired by that, and they did an even better version, which is it was longer. They added a block, a space of blocks in the middle, making it a little bit taller,
mhm,
which gave room for like the warp drive and the shield and all that other stuff that came in.
gotcha.
And then I built off that.
Oh wow, nice. So somebody was inspired by you, and then you then got re-inspired by them.
Yep.
Very cool, very cool. And definitely can be within CPU. It'd be tier 3 and be just fine. Yeah, so it's kind of weird too because I haven't done these designer spotlights in I think within the CPU, or maybe I have, I don't remember, but yeah, I haven't run into this issue where I can't fly the older builds, so this is gonna be interesting. But it is what it is. So we got the J Randall radar on the top there, that's cool. Yeah, so very nice, man. So okay, so you built this. I assume you probably built stuff before this, though, right? This was your first workshop creation. Kind of walk me through,
No,
like,
that was that.
go ahead.
That was my very first build.
Oh wow, wow, well, that's impressive. What any other games that you came from that were buildy, or like?
Um, I never played Minecraft. Trying to think. This was probably really the first building game I've ever played.
Wow,
Didn't play 7 Days to Die or Ark or any of those.
space engineers, none of that.
Yeah, no, Space Engineers is too. I don't want an engineering degree to play a game.
Okay, I gotcha. Wow, dude, so that's awesome, man. So you just came in here and you're like, hey, I'm gonna build this freaking big Spaceballs reference, and and just did it. That's nuts, man.
Yeah, some of my stuff can be really hit or miss. I'm not terribly consistent all the time, but I have gotten better at it.
Hmm. That's yeah, no, that's remarkable, man. I mean, so okay, so first build, first workshop thing. Did you look at the workshop? I mean, were you kind of inspired as to what's possible in the game before you kind of started building, or like what made you go,
Oh
oh,
yeah,
I could make this in the game?
I was looking through the workshop, seeing what all was in the game. And like I said, the idea for this came from somebody else's workshop. I'd seen that they had tried to build one, and
Right. Dude, that's awesome, man. So I mean, so I guess okay, so next question. You bought the game prior to understanding how much building was possible in the game, or was it the workshop that got you to initially make the purchase to get the game?
I think the workshop was a big part of it. Seeing what was possible, what could be done. It really appealed to me.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just always interested to see how people kind of fall into the game, because I mean, it is a very much a building game. It's very, I think it's the best building game on the market. I mean, honestly, I don't think there's a game that's more enjoyable to build and gives you more freedom. I mean, I know the CPU thing, but as far as blocks, as far as shaping, as far as all these things, you really have the opportunity to make some amazing stuff. And it's also a good survival game. So when I say good, I say good. I don't say great, amazing. It's a good survival game. It touches all the bases in a decent manner, but it doesn't excel at any one. But because it's such a good building game, for me, it sets it apart from the rest of the survival games, just because you can build your way out of any issue. So yeah, no, it's interesting to see that there's people that they go into the workshop and they look at things and they go, oh man, I got to get this game. You could do that in this game. So that's really cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard other people talk. They saw a Jay Randall build or someone else's build, and they're like, that got me to play the.
Yeah, that's powerful, man. Workshop is a powerful thing. All right, so let's look at the second build you got to show us here. This is I would assume this is a base.
Yeah, not all of these are on the workshop. I've over time I've curated my workshop and removed or hidden, stuff that wasn't popular or was really crummy. But I
Gotcha,
thought I'd dredge a couple of them back up for this.
gotcha.
So yeah, this was just a little wooden fort I attempted to build. Just very simple shaping. The interior is very bare. Not much
Nice.
to it.
So I mean, is this a base you used in your gameplay, or I mean, I guess another question: did you play the game a lot, or was it just a building game for you?
Yeah, I played the game a lot at first. I spent a lot of
Mhm.
time playing. But I spend a lot of time, most of my time building now.
Okay. When's the last time you did a complete kind of playthrough in survival?
It's been a while. I need
Yeah.
to get back into it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I always say this, like it's extremely important to play the game. Like there's little nuances and there's little new things that you learn only when you play, and it really helps building. It really helps builds become more realistic and functional to use in the game. And I know people really appreciate it, especially from top designers and people that make stuff that everybody wants to use. For the longest time, Jay Randall didn't play the game at all. Like, from when I started talking to him until very recently, like he wasn't playing the game because I'd argue he probably isn't playing now. But I know he's at least gone into survival a bunch of times and played the game, and it's really important. And you could tell with his builds now that he's actually thinking about some practical things with design. And yeah, I mean a lot of I think for me, like Dragon the 13th, there's some people in the community that I know they play with their builds all the time, and that's how they're so usable in the game. So yeah, really important. This is cool though, man. Like, yeah, this is cool. So this is a wood fort. It'd probably be decent for base defense if it wasn't made out of wood. Like, but at the actual shaping and stuff, like, yeah, man, this might hold its own if it was like combat steel or something.
Yeah, I was just trying to make a simple, cheap base, and
Nice. All right, so then it looks like we got into a bunker. I see a bunker here. Yeah. So this is different,
yeah. I mean, that was all the rage. These small concrete bunkers.
right? Yeah, I think it was this style was one of the first things I got off the workshop when I was playing in survival. Oh, in a bunker, like some concrete thingy, and it's just practical. It's practical for play, right? You come in and you just handle your business. Like there's not a bunch of rooms you got to run through.
Yep. Not a lot of role play stuff. Not a lot of deco. Just straight up all business.
Yeah, for sure. So your gameplay was it? Were you more SV or more HV as far as your gameplay?
Um, I think I use the HV a lot actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was easy to get up and running, and have a little HV to go around, and it's better than the motorbike.
There we go. I mean, because okay, so for me, the SV thing, I just feel disconnected from the game. It feels almost like I'm in God mode. Like it's just kind of cheaty. Like you lose everything. You lose sound. You lose. To me, you just lose everything in the game, and it's just weird. It's like I want to be where the action is. I mean, it sucks going through forests and constantly hitting trees and whatnot, but
And plus, HVs are just fun.
yeah, for sure. Is this a product of like the texture? So I wonder, right? Because I assume this is an old build, right? If you back in the day, I think when you textured it, it would texture the whole block, but now it doesn't. Is that what this is?
I might have missed it. I don't know.
Oh,
Sometimes I
okay,
miss
okay,
stuff.
okay, okay.
I know the texture facing, like, over time as they patch and update stuff, the texture facing gets mixed up.
Yeah, for sure. No, it does, and that's why I was
I
wondering if
went
that was it.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, cool. So yeah, let's keep going, man. So now we got a military bunker here. Oh wow. So yeah, this is considerably.
So, yeah, you can see where I've gotten more complex over time. This was actually I had made several different small concrete bunkers, and I used the before we had copy paste, we had merge structs, this kind of manual copy paste thing where you had to line everything up, and I took those different bunkers and copy pasted them together, merged them together to make this,
Yes, I can see that.
and then built onto it.
Then you kind of you took this and you transitioned it over to the center, and but initially it's the same. Yeah, so like small kind of like maybe mining area. I mean, these boxes right here would hold like an entire planet back in the day, right? So
Yeah.
this would be the big center area.
Of course, I didn't know what to do with half the rooms, so it's just throw stuff in there. Some grow plots here, some bunk beds there.
Now, all built in creative, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Have you ever built in survival?
yeah. My stuff tends to turn out very blocky and very rough.
For function, right? I mean, I'm the same way. Like, if you look back at
Yeah.
some of the Let's Plays where I build stuff, I mean, I wasn't sitting there. I mean, a little bit, but not a lot. You know what I mean? Like, let's just get down to business there. Yeah, this is cool, though. Now, did you play with other people, or was it single player?
Just single player,
Okay, guys.
because I'm antisocial that way.
What's that?
I said because I'm antisocial that way.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I was gonna say because this looks like a nice like co-op base, definitely. This one's a POI now. Oh, Alphaholic is asking if this is now a POI in the game. I don't
Not as
think
far as I
so.
know.
I don't think so. You never know though. You never know with Elion. It's on the workshop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe. I don't know. Maybe it is. You didn't even know it. Siege would be upset. He'd be like, wait, what? This is a POI? I had
I
no
don't
idea.
care. They can use whatever.
I had no idea. Well, just that you didn't know, right? It'd be like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, and you can see like on the outside there and on the railing, on the corners, the diagonal pieces
Mm-hmm.
don't have any rails because at the time when I made this, they didn't exist. They do now.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, dude, very cool, very cool. So, at what point in your building did you kind of? I always use the word pivot, but like, in what did was it like? Like an aha moment, like, oh crap, like I can do this, or I can, I can, I feel like this is definitely more substantial than these, but maybe just in size. But well, like I really like the tower. I like the detail of some of the shaping on that, and it definitely has some more RP value, I guess, like look wise and everything. Was it now or was it later on in building when you were like, you just kind of realized that you could really do some amazing stuff?
Um, I don't know. I mean, early on, I built that Millennium Falcon. I think that was a good moment.
Yeah, so let's look at
That
that. Look at that.
and that actually, I borrowed the hull from another builder on the workshop. I saw what they had done, um, but their updates to it were really scattershot and unfocused, and I felt like I could do a better interior and kind of clean it up a bit.
Right.
So yeah, I mean the whole shaping isn't mine, but the interior I've updated a couple times since then. Unfortunately, with all the changes to the flight mechanics and stuff, it's no longer up to date.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously one of the most iconic ships ever. I mean, just the ship you want to fly in this game. And like, I don't know, like just the idea of going from planet to planet and gathering ore and just the roleplay possibilities are endless. Only in that Empyrion is at its core not great at being multiplayer, and that's because of the limits of the game. That's because of the lag. That's because of a lot of different elements. But that's what makes this kind of a cool ship is you could solo this ship and have a lot of fun. You could maybe use one or two people, have a lot of fun, and just play through with this one ship. Because honestly, if you have the Millennium Falcon, what other ship would you ever want to use? You know, I mean, maybe an X-wing if you had one, but you know what I mean. Like, what else would you ever want to use? I mean, this is it. Like, I want to play the whole game in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, I spent a lot of time online looking at interior schematics to try and replicate what the room should be.
for sure. Yeah, pretty accurate. I mean, I've been through a good amount of Falcons, and this definitely is one of the ones I did look at, and definitely one of the ones that I was like, okay, yeah. I remember too. I remember I was in here with Big, and we were looking at this together. We used to do this a while back, like way before I streamed and everything. We would just every couple days we would pull stuff off the workshop that caught our eye, and we would just look through them together and just be in awe of some of the stuff that we saw. Yeah, definitely.
And,
These are important to get right.
yeah, like the entry ramp back there at the time I made this, they didn't have the boarding ramps. I think they still don't have those for SVs,
Right.
unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. God, they need to. I mean, why not? Like, what's the problem? Give us boarding ramps.
I know,
Oh,
right?
that's what this needs more than anything. Yeah.
Yeah, keyboard LCD there for that I stole from Kiev.
Yeah. Nice. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Insert Imperial March.
So yeah, if you look if you go down a block space to look at underneath the floor, you can see all the RCS and the engines
Oh wow,
and
yeah. Oh my god.
that's
But does it?
that's what it took to get this thing to move.
But does it CPU though? That's what I want to know. No,
No,
it does not CPU, sir.
not even close.
Holy crap! Yeah, dude, this is it. Ah.
So
Oh.
yeah, it needs a major rework.
Yeah, that'd be fun, man. That would be a good time. That would be a good time.
So actually, I didn't provide a blueprint for it, but I actually made an updated Imperial blockade runner. It was like a modified Falcon hull. That was a lot of fun to build.
So I remember, yeah, I remember that one. Definitely remember seeing that, man. That blew my mind on the workshop. I saw that and I was like, "That's what is that? That's not Empyrion. What is this?" Just I don't know. It was the black. It was the signage you had there. It was just insane. Yeah, very cool, man. Let's.
So yeah, a lot of my inspiration is I take inspiration from other people's builds or pictures I see,
Mhm.
and I tend to do better when I have something to build off of, something to work from. You know that staring at that starter block is like staring at a blank canvas, and it can be really intimidating sometimes to get going.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so that's a good thing. So you get the inspiration before you even get to the starter block. Like you already know, you already have a plan as to what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
I do a lot of Google image searches for various sci-fi things, you know, and just whatever I happen to come across, and I have an entire folder of pictures and images and things that you know I draw inspiration.
nice. Okay. Yeah. Same here. Definitely same here. I did a lot of that, especially in the beginning. Like the Spade Blade that I did was an exact replica of Tony Stark's spaceship in the comics. Um, there was a couple. I mean, obviously the Winnebago. I literally looked at a Winnebago. The big rig truck. I literally looked at a big rig truck. I mean, some of those things. But then I guess I changed after a while though. I kind of stopped doing that because the things I built didn't make any. They were more functional, I guess, and just wasn't as much inspiration to be pulled from. So, but I kind of miss it now. Looking at things like this, it makes me want to build some more replica stuff. I guess it's
Yeah, a lot of my early builds were replicas. It gave me something to work off of and practice with the building things with the.
right. Let's look at the Cobra Rattler here. Yeah, nice. So is this first SV or?
Yeah, this is one of my earlier ones. I had tried to make an A10 Avenger, and then I thought, well, I'll make the GI Joe Cobra Rattler.
Now, have you spawned this since the new thrusters?
No.
I bet it looks a lot better now, right? Like it just gets an upgrade automatically. It's that's funny. See, it sucks. Like I don't think I can fly any of these. Yeah, I won't even lift off the ground. Freaking CPU. Yeah, dude. Very cool though. Very cool. So let's look at the freighter. Interesting. So talk to me about this one.
So I had a mining capsule on my workshop at one point. It was kind of a round sphere with these four fins coming off the back of it, and I've been playing with that shape, that basic build, trying to do different things with it. And this was one of the things I came up with. It wasn't big enough, for what I
Mhm.
wanted to do.
But okay, so the idea. Okay, so when was this? This was a while back, right? Way before weights and volumes, obviously, and all that.
Yeah, this is actually this is a while back. I mean, after I'd built the Falcon, but yeah, this is a while back.
So this was purely kind of role play as far as I mean, obviously, like you could just put some boxes in a brick and have all the cargo you want, but you wanted to kind of role play the idea of having to have a big freighter hauler that can carry large amounts of maybe like resources or something.
Yeah, basically make something that was purpose built for a role, but functional.
Right,
And
right,
it
right.
just didn't turn out very.
Well, yeah. So looking at it now, maybe not, but so do you find it more interesting now to actually have to build things purposed for these specific tasks? Whereas before you just had to roleplay it.
Um, yeah, it's it can make things more interesting. Really though, I just like building. Whatever.
Okay, gotcha. Because like
Um,
I look at like T Rex. He builds a lot of like interesting kind of freighter stuff, um, cargo hauling, like industrial kind of stuff. Like Trig used to do stuff like that. So I just wonder if now that because back then we had to roleplay everything. Like it wasn't really a whole lot to do with anything. It was just like, hey, let me build something interesting that looks like it's doing this job. But now, like you can literally build stuff that actually has to perform that job based on weights and volumes and within CPU and all these things.
yeah,
I find it interesting that games actually like bringing some of this to life. Because I mean we can I could trash the game a lot. A lot of us could kind of get upset about aspects of the game, but it is kind of cool that a lot of these things are coming to fruition as far as gameplay and building and stuff. So
yeah. I mean,
it's
I wish the development process could go a little quicker, but as long as it doesn't get too realistic.
yeah, I mean it's still a group of 4 or 5 people, right? I mean maybe 8 people now, 7. I don't know, something like that. But it's still a pretty small group. So I don't know, man. I mean they're slow, but they are pretty consistent. I mean they're always working. They're always pushing something. I don't think we've ever seen a huge gap in development. Maybe at some point, but
Yeah, and they're slow but steady. I mean, some developers just abandon a game, but they've kept at it. So
yeah,
props to them for that.
definitely. All right, so let's look at the Luna Explorer. capital vessel here.
Yeah, so this one at the time they had the what was it, the Akari, which was
Mhm.
like a starter CV, and I
Right.
wanted to, but it was really cramped inside. Everything was just crammed in there. I wanted to make something with a little more space, a little more style, kind of Star Trek-ish, but you know.
I gotcha. Nice. That's a lot of boxes, sir. That's a lot of boxes.
Yeah, that was one of my ways to, save space, and instead of having blocks for the floor, just turn the floor into, cargo boxes.
Totally. Yeah, I see it. I mean, and God, all the stuff you could fit in there would be. Now it's like, yeah, you could fit a lot of armor boosts and guns and stuff, but boy, you could fit the whole solar system in this thing. Just go. No weights and volumes, no issues, no nothing.
Space there to add grow plots if you wanted.
Yeah. Yeah, this is cool. This is the right size, to for gameplay. Like it's yeah, it's got a good amount of space, but everything's still kind of just right here. Where did you say was grow plots down here?
Those the spaces right there
Yeah,
under the
gotcha.
grates. Yeah,
Yeah,
just remove the grates and throw some grow plots.
that's a ration pack right there. Nice. Very nice. What do you think about some of these new things like the teleporter and the shields and stuff like that?
The shields were long overdue. I'm not sold on the teleporter thing yet.
Okay, I don't know enough about it, so I'm kind of just like reserving. Like I want to discover it in my let's play, but from what I hear, I guess you can't carry anything necessarily in there. Like I mean, it's just. But I still don't understand the. I don't get why. I guess other than a multiplayer, like I don't get why that's a thing. But maybe it's just I don't know. I got to learn more about it. Very cool, man. Let's what do we got next? Mr. Pinchy. All right.
Yeah, one of these little crap SV ships that I built.
Ah, nice. You say crap, I say that looks amazing. Yeah, this little guy, Mr. Pinchy.
Yeah, just a very basic little starter SV.
Yeah, but like the shaping and everything, like it's you got some nice shape work, especially out here with the thrusters, little thruster deals, and
Yeah, that was like Crazy Z. That was like 2 or 3 years ago. The design is actually part of it is actually ripped off from a design that Vicomte and Ujima Flip built, and I like the shaping so much that I used it on a couple different builds.
I'm interested to see if you're the one that built the SV that I first used, and I'll know if I see it. I even forget what it's named, so I can't even like pull it up to say. But it has a similar vein of this. Let's take a look at
Speaking of,
uh
if you guys aren't familiar with Ujima Flip and Vicomte's, go check out their workshop. They were building huge, elaborate ships long before when everyone else was building this little, crap boxes.
these new thrusters are crazy. oh, oh man. Because I remember the old ones, so I could totally see how the old ones would blend right in with this, right? But now, like with these, it's just crazy.
Yeah. So this actually started life as a GI Joe Hiss tank, which might still be up on my workshop, and I like the shape so much I decided to do other things with it. It was never terribly popular though.
So talk to me about that with the workshop. What was kind of the passion, at when you started kind of sharing stuff on the workshop, and you got a good amount of subs, or you got looked at with some of these things. Like, how intense was it, back then to be developing on the workshop, and was that kind of what drove you to continue, or?
Yeah, that was part of it. I like building things and knowing that other people were using them.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the community was a lot different back then. I think obviously the game was probably more popular back then. There
Yeah,
was,
there were definitely more people playing.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So I'm
Downvoting wasn't a thing when I first started.
right,
But yeah, when I first started, I think it was Jennifer was an early inspiration,
right,
and Kiev.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, everybody knows Jennifer is Zero G, but that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, I was a big fan of the stuff that she was making.
Yeah, like equal amounts practical, but also like very sci-fi and colorful. Like, I don't know, just, yeah, just interesting. Like, just constantly coming out with like interesting sci-fi stuff, but still being very practical and cost effective.
Another early influence was Savin Wraith.
Yeah,
Some of my bases were heavily influenced. They had that smooth marble design and the rounded windows and if you've seen some of the Talon villages in game, then you've seen some of his work.
yeah. We need like a Hall of Fame, man. We need like a, I don't know what we need. I don't know what format would be best, but we need like something where it shows like the designers, and then it just kind of shows like a little bit of their work, so that you can recognize them. It'd be really cool to like have that somewhere. Like, I can't think of a workshop for a game that has the amount of content that Empyrion has. I mean, there's some, Space Engineers has a really good, amount of work and stuff, but just not on this level. Not the amount that this has.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I named this thing the Sparrow, but it looks more like a vulture, I think.
So this was the two cockpits was for looks, or was it for you had said you don't really multiplayer, so.
Um, yeah, but I try to build for other people too. That might
Right.
have other needs. This actually, I started off with this trying to make the last Starfighter Gunstar. It didn't quite work.
Okay. Yeah, I've been there. But you kept going with it, which is good. Yeah, cool inside. I still haven't managed to wrap my head around a big SV. Like, I guess the Kydex doesn't count because I literally shrunk the Kydex CV into a SV. Like, I can't, from a starter block, I haven't been able to make like a big SV. My minimalist mind doesn't do it. I always go, okay, that's big enough, and it ends up being small, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I mean, Elian has said or at least I've seen a couple of developers say that they like the idea behind these big SVs, but then they make changes to the game that discourage that.
Yeah, it's I don't understand. I mean, to me, like it every other patch, it feels like they're shooting one vessel in the foot. Like, when the HVs got all those buffs, it was like, oh, you hate SVs, and then and then when the CPU came and they tore back HVs, it's like, oh, you hate HVs, and it's like, what do you want us to do? Like, I don't understand. Like,
Well, I understand it to some degree because the game engine can only handle so much.
mm-hmm.
There are some limitations um, with how much it can process and render. So that's why the ship speed is artificially restricted. That's why you can only have so many turrets on a ship. And the CPU, I think, is an attempt to remove some of the artificial restrictions and put a soft cap on what you can do.
Yeah. No, totally. It makes sense. Look at this guy. Talk to me about this one.
So someone else on the workshop had made a mining Hulk, and I thought, that was a really cool idea. So I'll do my take on it. Wanted to have it very functional. I actually built a couple different, like if you look on the side here, this little thing sticking out is designed to dock a turret HV that would dock to it. And then when you land planet side to do your mining, you deploy these turret HVs to protect it while you're off mining. And then the underside had a little hangar bay where you could take your mining HV and park it up in there. You
Right.
know,
So like, okay, so that's interesting now. Like, so with the new docking capabilities, like, how much does that kind of expand your mind as far as like with here? I mean, obviously, yes, you could have docked SVs here anytime, right? But like the whole like CV to CV and the SV to HV and all these different ways that you can dock now, like you could literally dock like a little like mining CV in here if you wanted to, and do orbital mining with this now. I mean, what does that do for you as far as inspiration?
you cut out on me there,
Oh,
Expel.
sorry,
I
sorry,
didn't.
sorry. No, so I was saying like, so what is the new docking system kind of? Does that inspire you more, like with the ability to kind of dock things to things? Um, like what does that do for you as far as like maybe thinking about future builds and stuff?
I haven't quite wrapped my head around that, but I'm definitely interested in the possibilities that I've seen people build things before. They're designed to be docked with other things. Before that really took off. So it's an interesting idea. There's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, I feel like I was given too much for Christmas when that happened. Like I feel like because I wanted it for so long, and like I'm one of the people that would build things that would dock to things. Like like I love that idea. I love the idea of having a whole platform of vessels that were still compact and small enough to perform different tasks as a solo player. So, now you give me CV to CV dock. All these things I never thought were gonna happen. And I can't like I can't even wrap my head around it. I'm sure there's like 20 different builds I could be doing right now that would just be amazing, but I was a little thrown off by how the docking happened. I hate that I have to get the SV, pull it down to the HV, get out of the SV, let it hover, get into the HV, lift it up to then dock to the SV, get out of the HV, and then get back in the SV to fly away. Like I just wish there was a soft dock that you could lock and dock something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's ever gonna happen, to be honest. But that's kind of like because I don't want to go through an elaborate design of making something that's successful with that, and then they give that to us, and I'm like, oh great, well, I needed this like a month ago.
so yeah, and you can kind of see the shaping here. It's just very basic and simple, and it's nothing too fancy. When I built this thing, I thought, this is the bomb. But yeah,
Sorry, my daughter's asking me to play Mario Party again. Yeah, dude. I'll tell you what though, man. Like looking at this now, like I love the shape of this, dude. Like I wanna, like this is, I don't know, man. When did you make this? You made this recently, or this was a while ago? Because it needs a mark too, man. This thing, like the shape, it looks beasty, dude. Like if you built on this, like with some I don't know. It just looks really good, man. It looks like it kind of reminds. It kind of. Oh, you know what? Something's wrong with my push to talk when I move. I forgot about that with Empyrion, so I'm cutting out a lot of times when I'm talking to you. What I was saying was like, it looks really good for this build specifically. It reminds me of the like the Hercules in Star Citizen, kind of the shape of it and everything. Like this could be really cool if you do like a Mark II of it or something.
Okay. Yeah, I thought about it.
Yeah, it's a strong shape, man. It looks really good. And guys, if I'm moving through these a little quick, it's because I do like to keep the spotlights around an hour. We'll probably go a little over. I understand. I mean, well, we will. It's been an hour already, and we're like halfway through the bills, so we got a lot of bills to look at. So I am kind of going through these, but a lot of these are on the workshop. I would definitely recommend, obviously, going to Siege's workshop and checking these out for yourself as I'm showing them. Because I mean, a lot, and that's the thing with the workshop. Like, there's a lot of builds here I haven't seen. I mean, some of these aren't on the workshop, so obviously I haven't seen them. But a lot of times you just don't see builds because there's so many, and the way that they format the workshop, you'll just never see them unless they were on the page and you happen to be on the front page at the time. You just miss a lot. So, all right, so we got here the Pathfinder.
Yeah, so this was my attempt to build a kind of Star Warsy type ship, but something different from the Millennium Falcon, something more unique.
Nice.
Another one that never very popular.
Yeah, and well, I could only maybe speak to now, but I can't imagine back then. But like, it's so random sometimes how the workshop works. I mean, it to sit there and think about, oh, should I release something today, or maybe a holiday is gonna mess it up, or maybe maybe this build's gonna mess it up, or like I've had situations where I put something on the workshop and then 20 minutes later Jay Randall put something. I'm like, damn it! Why didn't you tell me you're gonna put something on the workshop, you bastard? It's like, and his happens to be an HV as well, so his HV makes it on the ticker and mine doesn't because there's more CVs that week, and you know what I mean? Like it's just.
Yeah, that's that
Urgh.
that definitely factors into whether I put something on the workshop or not, is to who else is on there and how long they've been up, and
Yeah.
what's going on. And sometimes it's just so random what people end up liking. There's sometimes there's just no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah. I mean, so what do you think about now, like with the Crazy Z's and the Salustacores and even now the J Randalls, as far as their marketing scheme? Like they literally, well, let me not say scheme, but like their marketing, what would you call it? I don't know, just the way they put things on the workshop now. They've got, Crazy Z has trailers. He has music that he composes himself. He has like crazy amounts of photoshopping and just beautiful presentations, and then I'm sitting here like, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Like, oh my
Yeah, I
god,
can't compete.
it's crazy, but it's beautiful, right? And it's like, and I appreciate the whole thing of it, because I mean, he's not doing it. I don't think he's doing it from a marketing standpoint. I think he's doing it because he's that creative, and I think it's a whole role play thing for him, where he wants to present this like like those cool Mercedes commercials and stuff, and it's like Tim does that too. Tim does like really cool like trailers of like his ships, and because they visualize it that way on the showroom. I just think it's a cool thing, but at the same time, boy, it's rough to try to put stuff out. I think I do less now because of that than I used to, because like I'm not gonna achieve that.
Well, the trademarks are one thing. I could probably learn to do that if I wasn't so lazy about it.
Mhm.
That's another way to stand out. But the videos are something else again, and Crazy really does a phenomenal job with those. They're really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like the monorail thing when he came out with the monorail and like it had this whole thing with it, and I was just like, dude, you know what I mean? And then you think about it realistically, are you going to use a monorail in the game? No, but boy, like I appreciate that that was done. Like that was achieved in the game is amazing, you know? And it's just,
Yeah,
yeah.
he puts a phenomenal amount of effort into not just his builds, but the pictures and the videos and everything else. It's
Yeah, and it's just like when are you guys playing Scrap Mechanic? Like there's no time for anything. You're just yeah, dude.
so one of the things I wanted to talk about because this month's challenge is about block shaping,
Uh-huh.
builds, the build process. So, and that's part of it. Why with this you can see the progression that I've gone through.
No, definitely, and I mean that's really one of the reasons why I do this this show is that we've seen a lot of people. We've seen really high end designers. We've seen lesser known designers. We've seen people that really haven't built that long, but it's interesting to see everybody's methods and everybody's progression because I think a lot of times people come into this game and they're intimidated, and especially now I can't imagine now people come into this game going, oh my god, how are these people doing these things, and it's like when I came in, and I'm sure when you came in it was a lot more like tame. It was like, okay, I could probably do this, but now, you know what I mean? So it's nice to have this out there so people can come and say like, Siege builds these amazing things like I could never. And then you see like the wood for it, you see some of these things that you did in the beginning, and it's like, oh, like I could do that, you know what I mean? And then they start, and then they get better and they get better and they get better. And I've seen it over the year and a half when we've been doing these challenges. I've seen people literally start from the first month till now, and it's night and day how much they've developed in their building, you know
Yep, yep.
really awesome. So okay, so this is a good point to kind of bring this up as well. Something I always ask in this is, how do you start a build?
Um, so yeah, I usually have a picture,
Hmm.
and sometimes actually looking at pictures of Lego creations because this is a block based game. So you look at some of the things that people have built with Legos is a good way to translate if you get stuck on something. Sometimes the Lego blocks, the things that they have to do to work around the blocky shape, the fact that they can't use curves helps me. But yeah, I just um, get that starter block. Start laying out the length and the width of it, seeing how big I want to get it, and then just it goes through a lot of adjustment process. Um, I mean, you look at these finished builds and you don't see all the mistakes that I made, all the revisions. The times where I got something, the scale wrong or something. Those wings on that thing and the body, I had to rework so many times to get that right.
No, it looks amazing, dude. It looks like a what would I say? It looks like Native American. Like it's got like this really cool vibe to it, like in the shaping and the nose, and it looks really freaking good, man. It looks like a really cool kind of Santa Fe style, you know. Eh.
That's actually the Hawk Fighter from Buck Rogers.
Oh, nice. Yeah, dude.
I also did Buck Rogers Starfighter and the Draconian Marauder as well.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I guess what I was more asking though, as far as how do you start a build, was so there's people like take a CV. Some people, like me, I'll build a hangar first because that's the big focal point, and then I'll put all the stuff inside, and then I'll build around it, and that's why my builds usually end up being like bricks and stuff. Do you build the whole fuselage and then go in, or
Yeah,
okay,
I build from the outside in,
nice, okay, okay.
and sometimes that bites me in the butt because I don't build it big enough.
Right, right, right. So what do you do in that instance? Do you just kind of say, okay, this is now going to be lesser than it was going to be, or do you actually try to pull it out?
I rebuild it.
Okay,
If I'm really attached to it, if I really want to finish it, then I rebuild it.
gotcha.
Yeah, this one I'm really happy with how it turned out.
Wow, this has got like legit room in it. That's really cool. Come in here and look at that. Yeah, dude. Nice. Oh, and then I can't lift off because of the CPU. Damn it!
Yeah.
What's okay? Hold on. You know what? Let's do this. Screw it. Yeah. What? It's like I don't Empyrion or something. Yeah. I will fly you.
That actually doesn't too bad.
It holds up, man. It holds up. It's got enough power. It's got some decent yaw. Decent pitch, yeah, man. It's got some really good turning, actually. This is awesome.
I really need to go back and update a lot on my builds. I'm so terrible about that.
I'll tell you what, though. I thought that too, right? And I didn't do it. I just said, you know what? Those builds are in the past. If people want to pull from them and get inspired by them, I did Mark IIs, and I tell you, dude, I had so much fun doing Mark IIs of some of my builds. Like, it was amazing to kind of see how much better you get. And you don't know it until you take something like this and then look at it and go, oh, no, let's do that. And then you just kind of like, it just develops and it just becomes amazing. And it's your build, so, you know, there's no hate for, you know, building on your own frame, and you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's so much fun, dude. I highly recommend it. Like, I had so much fun last patch doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I encourage people to take my builds and modify and update them and upload them to their own workshop if they want to. I mean, I like getting credit for it, but yeah,
That's
knock
awesome.
yourself out if you want to mess.
So how do you feel about like the other philosophy of that? Like, you know, oh, it's my intellectual property. You know, I mean, there's some people that are pretty severe with, you know, their idea of that. Like,
I can kind of understand the attachment to your builds because it's like, you know, it's like your kids, it's your baby. But you know, now once I put it on a workshop, it's released into the wild, and you know, people can do whatever.
right?
I'm good with that. I've made my peace with that.
Snap.
So
Killer
yeah, this was
Hornets.
later on. I made a little fly ship, and then I thought, well, I can do something better than that, something bigger with more room, you know. So I made this thing.
Nice. That is sick, dude. And it just looks so proportionately. It looks amazing. Like, it looks so accurate. And the fact that you were able to, you know, just predict the future of the killer hornets, you know, of today. I mean, this is. I'm kidding, but that's amazing, man.
Yeah, I'm actually considering making a series of bug ships like that. Maybe something more sci-fi, you know, more less looking like an actual bug, but you know, taking from the.
Yeah, this is cool, man. The fact that it's just totally usable. Well, I mean, we gotta fly the killer hornet around.
I don't know. Will it even move?
Oh, it moves, sir. It actually moves really well. Oh, well, I suck as a pilot, but
Yeah, someone did a video of the fly that I made, the fly scout craft, which is like unarmored and no room for a shield or a warp drive or anything really. Just it was so funny seeing it flying around.
This is awesome.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see a swarm of players and those ships just gang up on someone.
Dude, Pear needs to take this and make like 20 of them. Do what he did in the designers challenge. Do a swarm of killer hornets. Be awesome. Did you see that? The one that Pear did with all the freaking crazy sand.
Yeah,
Dude, that was
that was
nuts.
amazing.
This is really cool though. Like I'll say it again. I mean, proportionately, it's just that's what sells it. Like you can look at things and go, "Oh, okay, he was trying to make a whatever, right?" Like no, this was really well done. Very cool, man. Yo, this is the one right here.
Yeah, this was
Yeah,
later on in my building process when I'd gotten better at this.
this was the like, oh my god moment of like the week when this hit the workshop, and uh, I spawned this thing in, and I was just blown the hell away at all the freaking detail in this thing. Like it was insanity. I literally went through this thing for like hours in game. Like I just looked at every and like I'd always find something and be like, wow, like that's a thing. Like like it was just remarkable, dude.
Yeah, I mean everybody always does the newer, the Battlestar Galactica reboot ships, and I like the old ones. I like the classic ones, so I built this.
Okay, so even worse, I've never watched Battlestar Galactica. I didn't even know that's what this was. I just thought it was an amazing freaking film.
Yeah, this is the classic Cylon Baystar from the classic show.
Okay, cool. Dude, I was just yeah. I just thought it was a really unique I don't know, man. I just yeah. And then you come in and then it's just and boy, these doors have complemented it over the over time, right? They look a little
And
more
I made a little classic Cylon ship to go.
yeah, dude. Just
Crazy. It actually wasn't that bad because I only had to I used the um the symmetry plane, right? So you build one section and it mirrors it, and then you use copy paste to copy it around to the rest, which leads to some shenanigans with the ship facing, which I had to fix. But yeah,
it's funny, like walking through this is even taking me back to when I originally walked through this. It's funny.
and then I tried the command chair up in the middle. I tried to make it look more kind of like the Imperious leader's throne room from the original show.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, it looks good. Yeah, dude, just the lighting and just the chrome with the black, and it's just yeah, dude, so interesting. And I guess it'll be cool, like when I go and actually watch these shows, like I'll be like, oh, they copied that siege build, cool. It's like, wait,
Yeah, sorry, it's an
um,
older build, so it's got the it's got the clone chamber.
okay, older build, yeah, I guess, yeah, okay. Was that a thing back then to do that, or
Yeah, yeah,
what's
it was
that?
a thing. I didn't know any better.
That was a thing. Okay, nobody told you. All right, cool.
I have since learned.
Yeah. Yeah. This. Oh, that's the yeah. Look at that. See, just like that looks good. It looks super like shiny and chromy, man.
Yeah, each of the four quadrants up top here have a different function.
Dude, like, kind of want to build like a micro one of these.
They actually have some saucer holes. I was thinking about because I took copy paste and I like squished it down into a smaller. Did some different things. It's definitely something I need to revisit.
I mean, even a space station. You know what I mean? Like, forget it. Forget even about something that's moving, right? Like,
Yeah. No, actually, I wanted to make one that could move because you got all these people making the battle stars, and I
yeah,
wanted something that they could face off against them.
yeah, totally. So that's cool, man.
Yes.
Like people building stuff, and you're like, oh, well, the universe needs this now. And that's pretty cool. Yeah, dude, this is. I highly recommend you guys take this out and look at it. And the fact that it's a CV and it freaking moves and stuff is just, yeah, it's like insane, man. If this was a station, it would still be super impressive. But the fact that it's a freaking CV. All right, so alien cruiser.
So this was actually inspired originally by an EVE Online ship, one of the Amarian vessels. This was actually on the Amarian vessel. It didn't have the nacelles. It just had this thing in the middle. And what is the back on my ship would have been the front on that ship. So I turned it around and then did some different things with it. This was my attempt to make an intimidating alien vessel, and then of course Jay Randall came along with his Creel ships, which is really what I wanted to do with this, and didn't have the ability.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, in its own right, this is freaking amazing. And that's it too. I think when it comes to alien stuff, I mean, there's room for like a lot of different interpretations. I don't think that the krill is cool and the krill has its own specific look, but now we
You
have.
cut out again.
Sorry. So the krill is cool and it has its own specific look, but at the same time, like now he's doing the scar, which is a totally different look. So I think there's room for other people to come in and do their own style, and to me, as long as it's detailed and interesting and shares a common theme, like yeah, I think there's plenty of room for all of that.
Yeah, definitely. So I was kind of stuck on some of the shaping, how to dress it up with these um, the nacelles and the body. Which is why you see like these different symbols and these alien, symbols on the hull. I was trying to do something weird with it.
How do you feel about the new, like they've given us a lot more flat blocks and cool little curve transitions with the flat blocks? Like, do you find it a lot easier to get away with some of these things, like these cool kind of? Because I notice you do a lot of thin accent shaping, like I do.
Um, Sometimes it can be almost overwhelming with all the choices.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I definitely appreciate having the extra stuff. I got the nacelles here looking sort of like the Star Trek
Hmm.
themed kind of nacelles. Um, the stuff along the hull there, the green stuff, that's actually supposed to be like to simulate like the crew lights,
Hmm.
deck lighting like you might see on a spaceship.
Ah, I totally agree with you on that too. I think it is overwhelming the more they give us, and I'm almost like it almost upsets me sometimes. Like when the color tool got the big update with all the colors, then it's like, hey, there's colors now. So now like I could no longer be like, oh, well, I don't like the default colors, so I don't color. Now I can't say that now. I can't. Oh, I don't like any colors. Any colors in the world of colors, I don't like them. So yeah, I agree. I feel like the more they open things up, it does get kind of intimidating when you're comfortable in your creative limits. Like because you do have to get really creative when you only have so many tools. But when you have all the tools, then it's like, oh my god, I have to be this creative. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah,
just
it's almost too much.
yeah, it's craziness. It's like it's insane, man. It's like, but I guess if we just kind of like continue to grow we have a lot of room to grow because we have so much to work with now. And I think, we're seeing people doing that and they're getting more and more comfortable with a lot of this new stuff. Like you look at the LCD stuff, for instance. Like, I mean, the just it's insane, and it just keeps going. Like every month I'm seeing crazier and crazier things, and I mean that literally and figuratively.
Yeah, that's beyond me for the moment. That's almost like a programming language in and of itself, trying to set up some of these LCDs. I mean, the stuff Decor did with that medical ship that he built,
Yeah, yeah.
the Sea Red, and that was just
Oh my god.
that blew my mind.
Yeah. No, and I didn't know what to do in the moment. I wanted to look at it for a long time, and I had to continue. I was in the show. I was, but at the same time, I was just geeking out at how I couldn't understand how he did it. And then I guess even Jay Randall went in there and he looked at it and he had a video on it, and he kind of understood what was happening, and it was just like, what? Damn it, I'm not a master at this part of this, and it's like it's frustrating, man. It gets really frustrating.
Yeah. So yeah, this build I didn't have a whole lot of room on the interior, and I even tried to put a hanger in there. Despite that, it's pretty cramped in there. The update has a lot more room.
Circling around this thing. Nice. Yeah, so you got some LCD stuff going on here.
Yeah, trying to do kind of an alien language kind of thing. And like I didn't have much room for storage, so I had to get creative with the ceiling there. Put all these storage boxes up there, and they're connected by elevator block.
Mm-hmm. I take it this was an old build too. Old build. Old build.
Yeah, that's an older one.
Oh yeah.
I don't stick both the clone chamber and the med chamber in there anymore.
I'm kidding. I won't. I won't. I'll mention it again. Don't worry. All right. So, how do you feel about? It seems to me like more and more of the deco is becoming a thing now, and I'm really liking it actually. Like the shower is a thing. Obviously, the beds are now a thing. It's cool, and it actually makes me think like, is all the deco going to be a thing eventually? Like, I'm really hopeful for that because really kind of cool that you have to use these things now.
Well, I love all the deco. Is the more you can give me, the better. I love adding that stuff to my build.
Did you notice how much cargo you get for some of this deco now? Like, it kind of blows my mind how much stuff you could put in these. Like, I was looking at the wardrobes yesterday in the stream, and it was something like 2,500 or something. I'm like, that's actually a lot of space to put stuff in.
Yeah, they'll need to balance that out eventually, I think. But
Yeah, because like it used to be there to only be what, like two spaces to put something. Now it's like you've got all this unlimited room. It's crazy.
yeah, I'd made a little alien fighter to go with this to fit in the bay there.
Is that the next? No. So this is the Mark II, right? This is.
Yeah, that would be the Mark II. That's the one I'm working on right now.
Oh, okay. This is the one I was talking about earlier, where I was wondering if you had done this.
No, I didn't do that one.
Okay, okay. That was the first SB I ever used in the game, and I was just blown away at how cool it looked. But you see how it's all got the little pinchers and stuff like yours.
Yep. Yep.
GG Firestorm. Okay. All right, so let's look at the Mark II here.
So not done, obviously, still a work in progress, but heavily inspired by Jay Randall's Creel design. And some of the stuff that's actually already textured was directly lifted off his builds. Um, but like there was like the top there, where I tried to do. He had this on the Creole overseer. He has this segmented section on the back of the ship. I wanted to do that for the nacelles up front there, but it didn't work quite the way I wanted. I actually had to expand the height one block, but doing that meant to keep it symmetrical on the bottom, I had to expand the bottom block, and then of course that messed up the landing gear, and I had to raise the wings up to uh, to compensate for that, and then build out the back section a little more so the back landing gear would connect.
Right.
So, and then I'm trying to dress up the sides of these nacelles somehow without blocking, you know, the guns. So I had to get a little creative with some of the thin,
Really
block.
like that. Yeah, I like this here. This transition going back. That's cool. It's little things like that that I think look way better than like using the bigger blocks. I find those little accent details with the thin blocks to just be so nice to look at. Like it just really makes it look like, you know what I mean? It just makes it look like one whole shape instead of like
Yeah, it was
blocks.
actually it was really hard to get that. There's still some spots that I'm not entirely happy with, but there's not a whole lot I can do.
Ooh, look at that. That's cool. I like
Yeah, I
that.
went over that a lot, trying to decide what to do with that area.
I like that. I like that curve going in like that. Interesting.
So, and obviously, I expect them to change the thrusters at some point. So now, all the thrusters are exposed. Some of them weren't before. Some I even had fuel tanks directly behind the thrusters. That wouldn't have gone over well.
Yeah. I thought that was a thing. It wasn't that being. Isn't that going to be a thing in 12? Maybe that's not a thing. They keep pulling it back. They keep
At some
saying they're
point.
going to do it, and then they go, maybe not this fast. But I just, yeah, I've been doing that for over a year now, just like waiting for that.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of cheated on builds like the Millennium Falcon just because there was no way to get it to move
Yeah,
otherwise.
yeah, very cool, man.
So obviously, no hangar bay on this one.
Yeah,
I made a bunch of changes since I gave you this one even actually. So it's the inside's a little different.
gotcha. But no clone chamber. So that's good. The win. Yeah, that looks cool. Yeah, nice, man. Just very
Yeah,
clean.
that was an idea that I lifted off Vermilion on one of his builds. He had a battleship with um, missile tubes, and missiles and racks and stuff.
Mhm.
Missiles being loaded up, and the blue things up front there. Those were he had another one where there were like these radioactive bullets being loaded into the weapons, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really liking like, and I'm seeing this a lot with ships now. Whereas before, people would spend a lot of time on the outside of the ship, and then you'd come inside, and it would just be pretty basic. Like it'd be, square rooms and this and that. But I'm really loving how people are bringing just as much detail into the inside shaping of it, because it really it sells the entire idea, especially when you're doing like a race theme kind of build, like an alien race or whatever. Like it just, yeah, it really makes it believable.
Yeah, well, a lot of my original builds, the interior, could be pretty bare,
Hmm.
boxy and not a whole lot. With this ship, I decided to build a quarter out into the wings, and then to build some more rooms into the nacelles. So
Hmm.
there's more rooms back. It was the only way I could fit everything.
Right. Now, do you want me to show everything, or that's okay?
You don't have to. Whatever. I don't care.
No, no.
It's
I just mean for you, like, and if you did something different, I want to show it. I'm just
no,
saying.
it's
Okay.
yeah. I don't mind. I mean, it's not done yet.
Yeah. Nice. I love these doors. I haven't been able to use one yet. The double doors.
Yeah, I love those new doors. And so, and I've seen a lot of people. I didn't used to do this to provide access to all the guts of the ship,
Yeah.
but I've seen a lot of people do that to good effect.
Hmm.
So I decided I would do it. And actually, on the newer version, I've even got more access to the thruster areas that I'm working.
Yeah, like there's many different reasons I think too. Like you take somebody like Bullet or Semp, they do it because they actually use this in multiplayer and they're constantly having to repair individual parts and they like to literally go to these parts and manually repair things for RP value. So you have that extremity and then you have others that just, it just really looks cool, right? What do you think about the shield like itself like the
I hate the device model for that.
ugly as hell, right? You remember the old one? Like the old
I don't
looking
even remember the old one.
the old nice cylinder one that just looked really cool. I think it was a placeholder, like a stock Unity thing, but it looked really cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make some suggestions to them for that to update that thing because I just yeah.
Well, I also think that CVs should get a smaller shield. Like, I keep the big one. That's for big CVs, but we need a smaller, less effective one for like these smaller size class 2 and below CVs. I think it sucks that like we have to try to fit a 3x3 thing into like the space or something.
I wouldn't mind it if it was a better model, but that model just does not work for me.
So this will be done by next week, or what do you think? I'm kidding. How long does it usually take you to do something this big?
Um, yeah, it can be like 50 hours. Don't even ask me how many hours I put into Nexus Station, and that's in the hundreds at this point.
All right, let's look here. Argos Explorer. Oh, that's the one for. That's the one that we just looked at, right? For the challenge.
Yeah. So I've got I gave you a bunch of blueprints for like a, Mark 1 and Mark 2, to kind of show you um how I'd improved over time.
Yeah. So this is the one that we saw, the Mark One, right? We saw that on the game here.
Yeah, so I built that for one of Fractalite's challenges, I think, to build a starter CV.
Why are you going away? Stop going away.
Probably not CPU compliant.
Oh, I like the legs, man. That's cool. Wouldn't it be cool if there was pistons, man, or pistons and rotors?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, tried to do something a little more elaborate here.
all right, Siege. You- Arr. All right.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, this looks really cool, man. Good flow about it.
Yeah, I try to keep things simple and easy to get around. A lot of my designs I've seen some builds where it's really um claustrophobic and there's all these twists and turns and it's easy to get lost in.
Yeah.
And I try not to do that. I try to make it easier for the players to find their way around and use stuff.
Yeah, like I think there's a happy medium. Like I do think that it is nice to have to kind of learn a ship a little bit because it just does feel a little RP-ish. But yeah, like there's some where it's all these spider tunnels and it's just really hard to navigate it. It drives me nuts. So very nice, very nice. It's yeah, I mean a lot of progression definitely from A to B there. A boat.
Yeah, this was one of my really early builds.
Doesn't float, Siege.
You think?
Oh, it's yeah, it's not no, kind of.
Kind of
Nice.
weak.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's got some storage, couple pods there for passengers that kind of look like windshield.
yeah. It's only subnautical. Ah. No. Okay, sorry. Sorry for that. Ah.
This, which was inspired by all the stuff that Furious Hellfire was doing.
Nice, nice. Yeah, for sure. Some amazing ships and stuff. Ah.
So it looks like the texture got messed up at some point. It was a smooth texture before.
Yeah, it might have been the default texture change. I think that happened. I don't remember when that happened. That happened fairly recently too, because even I made that mistake when I was talking about the challenge for this month. I was like, "What do you mean? The steel block default is smooth?" And everybody's like, "No, it's this other one." And I was like, "When did that change?" I didn't remember that changing. So yeah, it changed at some point. Oh, I forgot. My right turn turns off the stream. Sorry, guys.
Huh, that still works pretty good.
Yeah, just needs the Miami Vice theme. I did that in a challenge, and,
There you
and
go.
YouTube cut my stream off. Copyright. And look, guys, it goes on land too. They'll never see it coming. This is awesome. Yeah, it still works, man. I think it would be cool to have like boats are cool, but I'd like to see like underwater vessels be a thing, and like maybe like ocean planets and stuff like that would be kind of cool, man. I would love to deploy like a sub or something, some kind of an amphibious ship, and that'd be really cool.
Yeah, that's probably an expansion's worth of development though for that.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how much you'd have to do with it. I mean, obviously you'd have to figure out a way to not let water into the build when it's underwater. Um, but I feel like once they did that, all they'd have to do is we had an ocean planet in the default planets, right? It was pretty much all ocean.
Yeah,
Just give us that, but then we need some underwater POIs and stuff. I feel like that could be a thing. Jeep. I like Jeep. Nice. Like Jeep, like
yep, old school army jeep.
general with a cigar driving it. Nice. Yeah, this is where I got really comfortable for a while in my building with the K bars and stuff. Like I really enjoyed making things that kind of look like Jeeps and stuff.
Yeah, I like making realistic little vehicles like this to use.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, I used this in my survival play for a while.
Nice. Hey, little tree cutter. Oh, nice.
And then, of course, they put out the updated color
Yeah.
things so you could modify it. And then Put
Yep.
wheels on it, did some stuff.
Nice. That's awesome.
So, but yeah, with these builds, I mean, you can see how I've, progressed over time and learned and gotten better.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Tell me about this.
So yeah, I built this big space station, and at some point, I decided to add a subway system to it. And I determined that the best way for that to work with Empyrion's game mechanics was a monorail,
Right.
and have it ride the bar down that was the best way to keep it on the track.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people that would build with hanging stuff that would hang down, or they try to build things that would ride on a dual track, and it didn't work. So this was my first attempt to build a monorail car to work on that track on Nexus Station.
So this would ride on a one block base block.
Yeah,
Gotcha. How well did that work out?
that worked out pretty well.
Nice. Actually, I mean,
Of course, I didn't have an easy way to get the car into the station when I did the first update to the the subway. So you had to actually remove a section and then move the car, and the updated Nexus Station took care of that. And at the time, HVs didn't work in space, so I made it an SV.
right. Yeah, I mean, so that's another thing that's just a possibility in this game now. Like, I would totally make a little HV miner that would work in space now. Why not? I mean, it'll be slow, but you don't need to be fast to go mine, right? You just need to pull up right to it and deploy. Oh, look at this guy. That's cool. Yeah, man.
Not very maneuverable or fast, but it didn't have to be for what it was designed for.
Right. That's awesome. HV guns don't work in space. Is that still a thing? Oh, well, then I'm an idiot. Let me shut up. I wasn't sure if that was a thing. Well, wait a minute. That is a thing. I did that in my Let's Play. I literally fought a patrol ship with my K-bar. Yeah, it's a thing. Totally a thing. I don't know what fixed drills are. You'd probably maybe have to use a drill turret. But no, I think they work. I think they still work. That's cool, man. So let's look at the Mark II.
So yeah, the Mark II Crazy Z came out with his really awesome monorail design. So I kind of cribbed a bunch of ideas off of that and made an updated version.
I know. I feel like I gotta make a way bigger track.
I think mine ended up being a little bit bigger just because of what I needed to use it for. But yeah, there's a lot of his original design that went into the idea behind it. He does good work.
Yeah, dude, for sure. That is so cool. That looks awesome, man. Something about that cockpit, man. That cockpit is just. Yeah.
It's an SV.
It's like being at Area 18, man, and then all of a sudden, like, the monorail goes off the tracks and keeps flying. That's sweet.
Yeah, it doesn't turn very well, but that was I made it an SV, like I said before, to make it work in space on my space station.
Yeah. That is sweet. We saw the stair truck.
Yeah, show that show off my original one. They saw it yesterday, but they didn't see the Mark One.
Oh, wow. Nice. Wow. All you're missing is
So
like the old lady with the electric chair that kind of slides up the outside of it.
all right.
That would be awesome.
So yeah, I was trying to make something role playish that you could use to board my Galaxy passenger liner, which
Yeah,
has two entrances. So I was making this thing, and I didn't like how it turned out. I never published it, but yeah, this was my first attempt.
that is cool. You guys saw this yesterday. Very cool, man. Very cool. Now we have the tower.
Yeah, I was doing this thing where I was making these modular base pieces that people could use to put together their own little bases. Um, and this was one of the towers that I built for it. It's just very basic. You should see some of the stuff that Jennifer is doing with modular base colonies. That's just amazing.
Is she still doing the I know that at one point there was a big project where they were making an entire city and everybody was doing like their own buildings and stuff.
You cut out again.
Oh, no, sorry. So I was saying there was a point where she was doing like an entire city project and everybody was putting in their own buildings in it and stuff. Is that still a thing or
Yeah, I don't know. She's been working on a few things, but I've been waiting to see this space station that she's been working on, but she hasn't finished it yet.
another like modular piece here? So what are you focused on now as far as building? Like what do you see yourself doing for this next update and whatnot?
Oh man, there's so many things that I want to build that I mean I still want to revisit the modular, base idea, kind of like a moon colony kind of thing, a Martian colony, mining colony where you got all the different structures, really rough built, nothing slick and shiny, but it's all, you know, more frontier
Mm-hmm.
outpost kind of thing.
Because I mean, really, there's different. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many different ways to go about it. Like I noticed my style kind of changing from even a couple months ago, and it's interesting with this whole Creel thing and how races are now actually being brought into the game. Like it makes it an interesting proposition to try to focus on a actual theme, like a style theme, and then maybe building um, important vehicles function wise around that theme. I just don't know how, because it kind of puts you into a role play space where I don't always build role play, but sometimes I like it, but then sometimes I just want something that kind of works.
Right. Yeah, I've been wanting to build more, role playish things. Like that, like I brought this up, mentioned this other build, the Galaxy passenger liner. I built that as a passenger jet to service the Nexus station. I've been trying to build out different things to work with that, and I've got some ideas to build a defense satellite for it, and to build like a little worker bee type ship, cargo handler for it.
Right, right.
Yeah, the Triton Explorer was actually my first attempt, and it didn't turn out good for the cargo handler, but it worked for a little exploration ship, like a little undersea vessel.
So I would say after seeing definitely like all your work and everything, that you're more driven by inspiration of I don't want to say theme, but like you're definitely more inspired by something that you could make that looks really awesome. That kind of either has like a sci-fi theme or has a replica theme or something that you can still make functional, rather than putting out a line of vessels that perform a lot of different things. I mean, you've done ships that definitely do really cool functional things. Like with the ogre and with some of these other ones. But um, and I see this sometimes. I see designers, and including myself. Some are very focused on like I need to have a starter SV, a starter HV. A minor starter CV, and then I need to go to level 15s and then 25s, and now I'm kind of thinking like I want to maybe get away from that a little bit, rather than having a whole definitive line in each patch, because honestly it's exhausting. It's like sometimes I'm not inspired to kind of build some of those things.
Yeah, I get distracted easily, which is why you have all these different things.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas someone like Jennifer or Jay Randall, they build this entire line of ships along a similar theme.
Yeah, well, I think Jay Randall gets distracted too. I just think he's got so much going on that it feeds that creativity. Because you could argue that has Jay Randall made 6 carriers probably. Yes, but he keeps on improving it. He keeps on like doing, and I think we look at all Jay Randall builds as amazing, but he probably looks at them as, the original Persis carrier is okay, but look at this new one that has this, and then we're like, yeah, they're both amazing. What are you talking about? And it's like, no, but look at these little blocks and the way I did this, and it's. So I think that the people up in that upper echelon, they just get so in their heads that they're constantly, and it's at the end of the day, it's a game, right? They don't work for Elion. They're not here making content that we need to consume. They're doing this because they're enjoying it and it's fun, and I think that's the same for you, right? You build some of these things, and I'm sure it was a lot of fun to build and kind of
Yeah,
conquer it. So
yeah, and sometimes I just build something completely whimsical,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
like the castle I built, the video game castle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's look at that. What was it called?
8-bit dreams.
Oh, it was a yeah, yeah, it was a sub. Dang.
Yeah, it's grown over time.
Hold on, we're gonna do the test here. Come here. Oh, what's that? Who's that? That's Mario. You see that? It's like in Mario Party, huh? That's crazy, man. Look, it's Zelda. No, it's not Zelda. It's Link. Alright. No, it's not Minecraft. This is Empyrion.
And, and there's Tetris on the side of the tower there.
Daddy, it looks like Minecraft.
It does, right? It looks like Minecraft. It's not. It's a wait. What'd you say? Where is it? Tetris.
Back on the tower there, I put Tetris on the building. There's just lots of old,
Yeah,
arcade
dude.
game uh, references in here.
Yeah, it is. It's sweet. Oh, Donkey Kong. Yeah.
Go down and look underneath the building, underneath from the base, from the bottom, underneath it.
Wow.
Yeah, just back up a bit and yeah, a little Easter egg that most people will probably never see.
Right? I even failed to get the reference.
It's Dig Dug.
Uh huh. Something else I need to experience.
Old
I don't
old
know.
coin up.
No, I don't know. I don't know. Wow. All right, I'm about to look that up.
Yeah, there's what was it Space Invaders is in there, Galaga, Berserk.
Mhm. Was it? I mean, I had an Atari. I had a Nintendo. I've never heard of Dig Dug. Was that arcade only, or?
It might have been arcade. And then there's big yellow dragon is from Adventure. And you got the little guy with the arrow over on the other side there.
This is crazy though, man. It's and it's a maze, guys. Like I'm just looking at these big pieces, but this is like a whole maze that you can go there.
Yeah, it's a maze, and you can actually get through it. There's a way to get through it, and there's like little Easter eggs and things, and there's like some little snarky signs. If you come up to a dead end, you might find something amusing.
All right, so where do you start?
The big stand up coin op arcades. That's where you enter. You enter through the bottom of those. That guy right there.
Do you remember how to get through
Nope.
it? Get underground, sir. Yeah. The thought of
Honestly,
mazes scare the shit out of me in real life, huh?
yeah, it'd be fun, if you could, if I stuck some spawners in there though to put monsters in,
Yeah, you gotta do that, man. That's the thing.
make a POI out of it.
Master challenge, guys. Maze POIs.
But yeah, there's definitely a way through it. The shaping around the castle itself was interesting. I had seen a picture of a castle on like this plateau of broken rock that I wanted to try and replicate. I think it turned out all right. It wasn't big enough though. So, but yeah, this was just something whimsical, something for fun, something for people to
Yeah,
enjoy.
dude. No, it's amazing, man. Yeah, look at this. I mean, it looks like. Did you use any of the destructible blocks, or these are all just real blocks? Did they
So
have
these
those
are all
back
just
then?
real blocks, piled up.
Cool, man. Nice effect.
And like you can see where one of the towers has fallen away and crashed down on the maze.
Oh, this is sweet.
Yeah, I probably do the interior a little different these days, but
Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. You just got a lot of different styles in your arsenal, man. It's really cool to kind of see an example of a lot of them. Like you're not defined by one thing, by one type of build, you know?
so there actually is a princess tower up at the top.
Where's she at?
She's in
Peach.
another castle.
Yeah, nice. She's in another castle. Damn it. All right.
That's what sign there on the pillar.
Oh. Damn it. Haha. Kind of
There you
growing
go.
up though. I don't know. It got bored up in here. Got rid of the dress, all that.
It's like her naughty sister, I guess.
Right? It's Daisy instead of Peach.
So I like how the tower turned out. I actually had to revise that a couple times, but it turned out pretty good in the end.
It's really cool, man. That link is amazing.
There's actually a jumping puzzle in that standalone tower um, with the Tetris. So yeah, you got a throne room, and then if you go down,
Oh
there's
yeah,
a broken bridge you can jump across, and then if you go downstairs,
that's
it's
cool.
all broken.
Yeah, that's cool, man. God, this must have taken a long time.
Yeah, I've updated it a couple times, so I didn't do it all at once. I kept adding more figures to the maze over time.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I think we'll open up the chat to some questions. You guys have any questions for Siege? What's the favorite build that you've done? Scarly's asking.
Oh, that would be tough. I don't know. And I'm really fond of the video game castle.
Yeah, dude, I think that's special, man.
So probably probably Nexus Station is my favorite, just because of all the time I put into that. Put a lot of work and a lot of love into it.
Right.
No, crazy. I did not play Minecraft. I did play with a lot of Legos and Lincoln Logs as a kid, though.
What do you think's your most definitive build on the workshop?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, my stuff is all over the place. I don't stick to any one thing.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was saying, man. Like, you look at this body of work and yeah, like I don't know. And I see a lot of people that I can tell were influenced by your work as well, right? Like I see a lot of newer designers in a lot of your work, which is really cool to see. And I don't know if it's my unique perspective because I do these challenges and I really know everybody's style. But I definitely see a lot of other people, in your builds, in your older builds and stuff, and it's really cool.
As Scarly, as far as what you're going to see a Mark II of, that would be the alien cruiser build that I'm working on right now. But to get back to what you were saying, it blows me away when people say that they were inspired by my builds. Like, you said that you were inspired by them, you know, and I don't know, kind of blows me away when people say that.
Yeah, no, I get that too. I mean, before streaming, right, when I was just putting content on, all I had was the comments in the workshop, right? And a lot of those, are usually like little one-liners and stuff. And but every once in a while, like you get a really nice comment and someone's really taking the time to kind of explain. And I get it. I get it every once in a while, and I actually got one yesterday, I think, and I was really like, I was like, yeah, dude, that's freaking awesome. Like, it was somebody that had come from Space Engineers, and they just recently came into Empyrion, and it was the Augur, the newer Augur that I did the minor, and they were just like, oh my god, it's like, thank you so much, and all that. And it was cool, man. Like, it's just cool to get that. Um, but yeah, I know what you mean, man. Like, I look at all my stuff, and I like maybe 20% of it. The rest of it, and some of it, honestly, I don't want to look at it again. And then some of it's like, yeah, it's okay. Like, I want to do something better now or something, and it's like, I think when you look at your own work versus other people looking at your work, it's a totally different thing, especially in this game where there's so many different styles and so many different interests in the game, so many different influences. You have Star Wars, you have Star Trek, you have realistic vehicles, you have fantasy, you have just everything. I mean, this game allows you to explore so many different types of um, time periods and stuff like that, and it's really cool. Even anime and there's so much that you could reference in this game with the blocks and that's why this last month was so cool because we got to see how people influence other people and sometimes I would think I'd be like, oh, okay, I think this person's obviously influenced by them, but then they came with a totally different influence and I was like, whoa, this is really cool. Like, people look at all these different things and they get inspired and you don't know who you're inspiring, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure Crazy didn't realize that he inspired you to do things and some of these other people, so it's really interesting, man, when you share kind of content.
Yeah, so that link I just shared was to Steph's workshop. I don't think she's making stuff anymore, but she used to make a lot of really whimsical things that kind of inspired me with the video game castle. She would make a giant Hello Kitty base, or burger and fries, or an NES box, or controller, and just made a lot of really cool stuff. That's it's not sci-fi in any way, but it's you know a
Yeah,
lot of
totally.
fun stuff.
Yeah, like I remember the SpongeBob's house, and I had seen it somewhere. It was like a pineapple base or
Yeah,
whatever, and it
she,
was
she
really
made
cool.
a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think at the end of the day, the thing I pull from everything is that, sharing the content in the game is probably the most important thing, because it all drives us to want to build more things. If we're all just cooped up in our own builds and we never look at anything else, I think it just, you don't progress the same way you would if you're kind of looking up and seeing what other people are doing. So
Oh, definitely. A lot of my, sometimes I'll reach a plateau in what I can do, and then someone else will come along, like Jay Randall or Crazy, or you or someone that puts stuff out there that pushes me to be better. You know, gives me
yeah,
more ideas, inspires.
oh for sure,
And I wouldn't be building the stuff I am now without those influences.
yeah, dude. Well, guys, I think that's gonna be it, man. I think this is our longest designer spotlight ever, man, but well deserved. I mean, we saw a lot of really cool stuff today. Things I wasn't expecting to see. Even like this is freaking awesome, man. I don't know. I might be able to get my 6-year-old to play Empyrion. We'll see. I don't know. But dude, special thanks to Siege. I appreciate you sharing all this. Appreciate you sharing things that aren't in the workshop. Kind of showing us your progression and everything. And I think you made a point to want to do that. And I think it's very important for new players to kind of see what you can start from and where you can get to with some of these amazing builds. I mean, the contrast of ability is just crazy, and it's you just got to keep working on it, man. You got to keep moving blocks and just continue to build things that work in your gameplay and and inspire you. Any final thoughts?
No, just thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. Thanks everybody. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys on the next stream, which will be tomorrow, and it'll be the Anvil build series where we will continue our crazy asymmetrical CV that we've been working on. Till then, guys, my name's XCaliber, and I've been here with Siege and the Designer's Spotlight. Take care, everybody.
See you guys.